The Dante is a whisperer theory, and something seems wrong. It feels different to other new characters. It feels like there's an ulterior motive. Every time we see Dante. In this video, we're going to be reviewing The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 13, What We Become. And of course, going through things that you might have missed and explaining it. And remember what a review is. I'm not just going to sit here and arse-lick the show. I've seen way too many people say, why do you always find the problem with it? Well, it's a review. A review is reviewing the episode, thinking about what you would have changed and what you didn't like and did like. It's not an Episode 13 arse-lick, it's an Episode 13 review. Now, first of all, I want to say, I'm usually a fan of what Scott Gimple does. I actually prefer what he does with Rick Grimes. Every time he's been in control of Rick, he's been amazing. Apart from the obvious, Season 8. And I know Angela Kang writes the show now, but there's a choice I know Scott Gimple made. We will not see Michonne until the movies, which means we will see these two characters with Michonne in that movie. The Rick movies are a chance for The Walking Dead to be taken seriously again. Season 10 has already been put on the radar, but this movie would mean a lot. It would do a lot for The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is still very much taken seriously. It has a lot of viewers, even though it's, of course, we know it's dropped. But this movie is going to be the thing that makes people watch it again, make people start watching it, because they want to see this movie when it comes out. And I was wondering, who is this King Batch that everyone's talking about? We've got such a big step towards Rick Grimes, yet so many people are talking about King Batch. It turns out he's a Vine star. I knew he looked familiar. Already, this isn't a very good thing for the movies. Not because of this guy himself, but because of what I know Scott Gimple would probably use him for. The comic relief. I mean, he's a Vine star. It's going to be emoji movie-like humour, so I just really hope Scott Gimple, being the boss of The Walking Dead, he doesn't try and get this character to be all Tara from Season 8 like. Rewatching The Walking Dead, by the way, I actually quite liked Tara. But in Season 8, I mean, nothing was good in Season 8. It was just cringy, not even forced humour, it was just shit. And for what I know this guy is known for, I hope that's not why he's been casted, to bring that element to the movie. I mean, I don't think it's just me thinking this, but I don't really want to see Rick Grimes do a dab. That's my only worry about the Rick Grimes movie as a whole. You know how big Rick Grimes and the CRM have been on the channel? This episode we found out some major stuff. Firstly, a few days ago, I didn't make a video about this, but a World Beyond sneak peek actually showed the meaning of the CRM, the Civic Republic Military. And the way these characters spoke was actually not like the three communities are the CRM. The CRM may only just be one name of the communities, the one where this Elizabeth character is from, the clearly darker one, the one where Rick Grimes is from. So Rick Grimes is at the CRM, but there's two other completely different communities within the three. So the Civic Republic Military is just the Philadelphia community. The name of the three communities as a unity may yet still need to be discovered. And what we know as the CRM is the Black Armored Soldiers, right? Well, what Michonne saw at the end of episode 13 wasn't the CRM that we have come to know. Just look at what these characters are wearing. And although it's from a distance, look at what these CGI soldiers are wearing too. They aren't wearing the black armour. We would see the matte black from a distance, and we very clearly hear wagons and horses. This is not the CRM that we have come to know. It's likely just another community within the three. Just think about the start of Michonne's part in the Rick Grimes movie. Where will she be? She'll be with these two characters approaching this army. Would she immediately find the CRM? Or will she find this community, or maybe just one of the three communities within the CRM? To then go on this journey to find Rick. Of course, the thing that confirmed to Michonne that Rick is still out there is when she found Rick Grimes' boots. Along with his boots, she found an old iPhone, which I was worried about seeing because the apocalypse started in 2010. There wouldn't be some fucking iPhone 11. She found an iPhone 3G with the word Rick written over it in chalk. A picture of Michonne and Judith. And beneath the word Rick is some Japanese symbols in a column. Now I spent a good amount of time with a Japanese keyboard trying to perfectly translate what it says.
Let's learn how to translate English to Japanese in this lesson. Before we begin, I want you to keep these 2 points in mind. Time
I actually tried finding people that would know how to translate it, actual experts to try and do it, and they couldn't. I even tried to use the Google Translate app and still it didn't work. However, in common with all my attempts to try and figure out what it meant was the word sorry and already. Whatever is written on this phone, it is a warning. It's likely not even something that Michonne would see and know Rick would have written it. It's knowledge on the place that he is at. I don't actually think Rick has written this. I also think it's quite odd that Judith is older in this picture. When Rick last saw her, she was a little toddler. However, Michonne with her normal hair, it's likely Rick is just thinking this is what she would look like. The context for this phone is going to be really complex. I mean, the whole thing is obviously really weird. Whoever did write this didn't want someone to read it with ease. They'd have to do some searching, some translating. Or maybe it was intended for Michonne with her katana. Michonne likely can read what it says. And of course, not to mention it's written on a phone. Once she finds a power source, she can charge it somehow, and maybe there's some photos of a certain someone. Or with how disgenuine Elizabeth seemed to be in that World Beyond sneak peek, maybe it's proof that their real operations are not that nice. As we've said, the darker side to the CRM. Of course, we finally found out this episode the truth about Virgil. He had nothing to do with the CRM. He's just lost his family and he drugged Michonne. He kept her in a room to punish her, to make her understand. Virgil really reminded me of Scarecrow from the world of Batman. Drugging Michonne, making her see her biggest fears. Of course, much like with Rick Grimes' final episode, Michonne's final episode was revisiting old times, but in a really, really clever way. As we said, we were seeing Michonne in her alternate reality, where she didn't save Andrea, so she never met Rick. And oh my god, was this good. I mean, for a start, I can't believe they remade the lineup. My favourite scene of all time. They had Michonne as saviour. Even Laura and DJ came back. And it was so much different with Michonne there, not just because she was there, but DJ was behind Negan. It was just so different. We saw how different things would really be if Michonne wasn't there. She was the bad guy. I just was so speechless after that. Daryl shot Saviour Michonne in the stomach with his crossbow, and Rick Grimes killed her. She was the enemy. It was all done really well. I mean, I could have done without the... I don't know whose granddad that was, but they basically they made the back of someone look like Rick Grimes, and he just stood there. That was awful. This green screen could have been done a bit better, but that's literally nitpicking at that point. There's reviewing, and then there's... yeah, it was just a bit dodgy. Luckily, I didn't dedicate a video to this shot right here, because never in a million years would I have told you that in this shot, she was killing Heath and Glenn. I like that. Like, it told me I was fucking wrong. But it gave me a little treat as well, like we're back in Season 6. Season 6 Episode 12, Not Tomorrow Yet, is one of the best episodes of The Walking Dead. They raid a saviour compound, an outpost. Glenn was not at the lineup because Michonne had killed him. It was just so good. I mean, they could have remade the lineup scene and everyone had a shit on the floor and I still would have loved it because it's the lineup. My favourite scene, I love it. But this concept of Michonne seeing her life, if she had not met Rick, if she was this heartless warrior, if she was a thug that became a saviour, was a really clever way to revisit some old scenes. And of course, see how grateful she is for Rick Grimes. It was amazingly done. I think the only problem with this episode is maybe some of it felt a bit rushed and choppy. It felt a bit messy, but it's just because so much happened in it. And at the end of the day, what is really the point of Virgil? It reminds me of one of those predators that get caught in the act. It was really weird. He had just done something quite evil and sinister, and Michonne doesn't kill. Virgil's just there now, and could easily offend again. And overall, it's just a shame that after all of that, the potential of Virgil is just quite blunt and boring. I'm going to reference Season 5 of Fear again. Do you remember we all thought all the guts being tied around trees, the barriers, it was all by their CRM. There was such a big element of mystery behind it, and it was good. It made you want to watch more. But it just turned out it was the kids. That's a bit like this. It just turned out Virgil was crazy. It's strange even calling Virgil crazy, because after this episode of madness that he had, he just returned to thinking normally, to being normal. So I think there's possibly some more on what Virgil could do for Michonne. I think there's an element of him sacrificing in store for him. He did this bad thing, and I think there's something he's going to do in return than just lead Michonne to this boat. You know, it's not like Virgil showing her this boat did it for Michonne. She was still quite mad. And honestly, it still feels like Virgil knows quite a bit more than he's letting on. I'm glad that he's not just dead. You know, there's a lot more to him still. There's still some theories we can talk about. But overall, we're just getting a lot more closer to the Rick Grimes movies. And just this episode alone, we can revisit just like Rick's one and find out so much more just from that. And of course, seeing the return of the brave man. Overall, this episode was a masterpiece. I think it was really good for Michonne's final episode. It was a very clever way to see her revisit old characters like Sadiq and the older scenes and what could have been. But I want to know what you think. Did you enjoy this episode? On the top right of your screen, you want to see an eye icon. Just click or tap on that. You can vote in the poll. Make sure you let me know what you think down below as well. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you press the like button. It actually genuinely helps me and will get this video more seen. Check this video out to see the confirmed locations of the CRM and of course where Rick Grimes actually is. It will get you up to date on all the latest about Rick Grimes. And of course, make sure you subscribe so that you're the first to hear about The Walking Dead and the first to see my videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.